Welcome to the Viper Visage Setup and Scoring Interface Trainer. While VisageInterface usually assists in setting up the Visage interface, this video will review the few steps required. Once the interface is set up, the video will then review the process to set up an event for Visage scoring with live leaderboards and for monitoring the event as live scores are taking place. To set up the interface, from the Help menu, select Maintain Program Defaults. Check the box for Enable GPS Interfaces. Once the box is checked, a new tab will appear at the top for GPS Interface, and you need to select this tab. You then need to check the box for Enable GPS on this machine, and from the drop-down list, select Visage for the interface type. This screen includes several fields that need to be set up for each facility. They include time zone. You need to set the time zone for where the course is located, and there will be a field for the default host name, username, and password. All of these credentials need to be obtained from VisageInterface software or get their assistants to fill this information in. The time zone can be selected from the drop-down list, and after entering the host name, username, and password credentials provided by VisageInterface, you can press the check connection button to check the connection to the Visage data center. If the credentials are valid, you will get a connection is successful return message, and pressing OK will open a screen with the details on the Visage data center. The course information returned from the Visage data center needs to match the course identifier information set up in Viper. For the Viper Visage interface, each facility will have all 9 whole courses identified. So each 18-hole course will consist of a first and second 9-hole ID. And for a standard 18-hole course, this will typically be IDs of 1 and 2. If a facility has 36 holes, then the second 18-hole course would be 9 IDs of 3 and 4. And for a 27-hole course, the 9 IDs would be 1, 2, and 3, with 18-hole identifiers then for each virtual course being 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 1. Using this method, all facility course configurations can be set up with the 9 IDs to identify those courses in Viper that are being used for the event being sent to the Visage data center. The course list in Viper will then show all courses created for a site. Each course is then selected from the list, and the 9 IDs are set to match those 9 IDs for the Visage data center. When configuring an 18-hole course, then both the first 9 ID and second 9 IDs are used. When configuring a 9-hole only course, only the first 9 ID is used, and the second ID is set to 0. So the front 9 would be first 9 of 1, the second 9 of 0, and the back 9 would be first 9 of 2, and second ID being 0. To change a course ID, you double-click on the course ID label to unlock it, where you can then click on the ID value and change it to whatever it needs to be. Double-clicking again on the label will relock the settings for that course. Using these utilities, you can then set up the course 9 IDs to match any configuration set up on the Visage data center for the course, and any events created in Viper will then communicate the correct course being used with all starting hole information for that course being sent to the data center for the players. Once all of the interface information is set up for the Visage interface, you can just close the screen, and you should not have to come back to it again. If for any reason communications are lost with the data center, then you can just come back to this screen and make sure that the interface is set up correctly. But typically, you will not have to return to this screen once it's been set up. Once the Visage interface is set up, you're ready to send players to the Visage screens and the carts for live scoring and real-time leaderboards. Before you can send an event, there are a few requirements for the interface to work. First, the date of the event must be for today. You can verify this on the Report Options screen by clicking the Reports icon. So if the date does not include today's date, then you can just use the drop-down arrows to change the date. So the current date must be between the starting and ending dates. The second requirement is that the event must be set for one method of hole-by-hole scoring. So using the scores icon, you can go to the score entry screen and change the score entry method if you need to. It needs to be either set to individual hole-by-hole scoring or team hole-by-hole. Team hole-by-hole being one score per team per hole, such as a scramble, shamble, Chapman, one of those types of formats. Or individual, it would be all players on the team would be entering scores, and using a format of a best ball or Pro-Am or some formats selecting from each individual scores on the team. Once those requirements have been met, you are ready to interface with the Visage system. So selecting the iCloud icon and choosing card assignments will open a screen where you manage the interface with the cards. Before staging the cards for an event, from the iCloud menu you can select the option that says Show All Car Status. This will then communicate with the data center and pull up a list of all of the golf cars and their status, so that you can see if any of the cars are not communicating, and if any of the cars might need to be changed out of marshal mode if you happen to need all your cars. Any cards that would be showing in red should not be pulled out for staging for the event, because there is a communication problem with those cars. The typical procedure for interfacing with the cars would be to stage the cars, place the cart signs on the cars so that you can easily see which players are assigned to which cars, and then from the reports menu select the starting report card assignments by T report, which will open a report that you can take out to the staging area and write down the actual cart numbers of the players in each cart. Once you've gathered all the cart numbers, you can then bring the report back into your Viper Tournament Manager, and from the interface screen you can enter the cart numbers in the cart column by just entering a number, moving down to the next one, and so on. If the event is a time start event, you can just enter a few cart numbers and check a few boxes at a time. If it's a shotgun, once you have all of the cart numbers entered, you can just select the menu item to send all, and all of the boxes will be checked, and the player names will then be sent to the carts and will appear on the Visage screens on a welcome screen, and names will be set up on the scorecards in the carts. At this point in the event, Viper is now looking for any changes that might be made to the event setup. So if there are last minute changes, such as player name changes, or somebody was switching bags in the staging area as the carts pulled away, whatever the changes may be, it doesn't matter. You can send those changes out to the carts at any time. In fact, there's a report that you can open from the reports menu called Cart Assignments by T Verify, and this report will then print all of the player names, cart assignments, and you can actually take this and drive the course and verify all names, make any changes that need to be changed, bring this report back and enter the changes in Viper. They will automatically update to the carts. You don't need to resend the event or anything. Any changes automatically get updated to the carts, and players' correct names will just appear on the scorecards. Once the event gets underway, from the iCloud screen you can select the Review Scores screen and actually see all the scores being posted as they're being posted, and can quickly determine if there's a problem with the team not entering scores. And so in this case, Team 6 is not entering scores, and the captain's car is cart number 7, the first player. So you could send someone out to the course to determine if there's a problem with that team not entering their scores, and if there's some problem with the cart, you can actually just switch the car out and enter the new cart number on the cart assignment screen for that player. It'll automatically then update all of the player information into the new cart, and they'll be able to enter their scores from that car. So by periodically monitoring the review score screen, you can keep an eye on the event and make sure all players, all teams are scoring correctly. You should also note that on the screen there is a column that says Include in Leaderboard with checkboxes, and what these checkboxes are for are to take players off the leaderboard. So if you had some teams out there that maybe were goofing around and entering incorrect scores, you can readily see that. You can then just uncheck those checkboxes for those players. It will take them off the leaderboard. You can then send a message to that cart and tell them to put in their correct scores and to put them back on the leaderboard. So a quick review of the Visage screens. This is a screen of the scorecards for individual hole-by-hole scoring, and it's just a matter of selecting each player, hitting the plus and minus keys on the hole to be scored to enter the correct score, and move to the next player. When everything is completed, you just close out of the screen and it'll record all of those scores, which will immediately come back into Viper. All players in all carts, whether it's individual hole-by-hole or team hole-by-hole scoring, will be able to see the leaderboard in their carts, and there's a scroll bar at the bottom of the leaderboard screen to enable scrolling to see the full field of players. From Viper at any time, you can also, from the iCloud menu, view the leaderboard, where you can click the Show Current Leaderboard button, which will actually calculate what the current leaderboard is at that given moment and show you who's leading in the event. This is not a dynamic screen, so each time you come to this screen, in order to see what the current leaderboard is, you need to press the Show Current Leaderboard button. When the event is over and verified all scores have been entered, if any scores need to be updated, such as the team forgot to enter their last hole score or whatever, you can just go to the score entry screen and manually enter any completed scores. The carts will automatically release overnight from the event, but should you need to turn the cars around for any reason for another event, you can just go to the iCloud menu and select Return All, and it will then release all the cars from that event, and they're available then to be used for either daily play or put into another tournament. This concludes the Visage interface training video. For technical support or assistance of any kind, at any time, call 888-643-1306. Thanks.